Welcome to Writer's Block. Look at that suntan face, fresh from the Bahamas. I expect you to still have the drink with the fancy umbrella in it. How was the Bahamas, Lav?
It was terrific, and I'm actually not as tan as I could or perhaps even should be. Not a huge sun guy, to be honest with you. I wear a sun hat. I wear a sun shirt. That's my preferred attire for drinking a lot of beer.
And you're a germaphobe. You're aging by the day. Every day you get older.
Mask on. There's literally about this much skin showing. So if I have a sunglass tan, that's probably why.
All right, as you can probably tell by my surroundings behind me, I'm actually in the media center at the Wells Fargo Championship. Lav is at home getting ready for.
Keep quiet. People are working. This is a working.
It is a working place. Media center. Thank goodness someone from AP's not here. I don't want to mention any names, Doug Ferguson, but Lav is at home getting ready for all the NCAA shows that he's got to do all the research for. So we'll get this moving very, very quickly. The highlight of this week's field at the Wells Fargo Championship is Rory McIlroy. This is going to be his first start since that magical Sunday at the Masters when he got that great backdoor top 10. Lav, how do you think he's going to fare?
Well, look, I'm not sure what to expect. This is his first start in about a month. I wasn't one of those, Rex, who was over the moon with Rory's runner-up finish at the Masters, sort of proclaiming that he's kind of unlocked Augusta National.
He's back.
And that he's back and he's going to go on a tear. That was exactly what we anticipated that Rory would do when he started the final round, 9 or 10 shots back of the lead. Of course, he was going to go low. Of course, he was going to potentially challenge. And of course, he was going to come up just a little bit short. I think the bigger picture when it comes to Rory is that he has had a very nice season. He does have the win at the CJ Cup, but you look at all the metrics, all the statistics, he's doing everything that he really should. I mean, he's inside the top 10 in strokes gained tee to green, strokes gained total. Everything throughout his bag is pretty good. If you could kind of nitpick one point, it'd be his distance control with his wedge play, which has kind of been his bugaboo over the past 4, 5, 6 years. Can he tighten that up at TPC Potomac at Avenel Farm? I'm not sure. I'm also not sure it really matters. PGA Championship is in 2 weeks. That's what he's gearing up for.
No, I agree. And it's interesting. I just had a chance to talk with Rory, and he did talk about maybe some of the things he found on that Sunday. And he said it wasn't so much about his game. He said he felt like his ball striking has been pretty solid all season long. He said, if anything, it might have been just a level of confidence that hadn't been there. And again, for a guy that's won as many times as he is, you would think that, oh, this comes easy, but it doesn't. You still have to relearn how to win sometimes. And I think in Rory's case, he probably needed a boost of confidence. To your point, you're right. I don't know that he's particularly focused on TPC Potomac. I think he talked with me this morning about the idea of how many events, not just big events, but how many events he's playing coming up over the next few weeks and how important these next few weeks could be to defining what is this season. It is his birthday today. Happy 33rd birthday to Rory. To your point, and I thought this stat was interesting, you talked about some of his wedge play, and he almost statistically is better from 200 yards than he is from 100 to 125 yards, which is fascinating to me for a player of that level. I think this
the same thing that makes him great in his swing, and not to get all too Brandel on you, the same thing that makes him a great driver of the golf ball with all of the lag and the things that he's doing on the downswing is what has always caused him trouble with his wedge play. He has such trouble kind of controlling it because he's de-lofting it and unable to kind of rein in his distances.
And I will say the one thing that gives me a little bit more encouragement, despite the fact that he finished so strong at Augusta, is he plays well in the rain. And there's going to be a lot of rain this week. It's going to be a soft golf course. It's right also across the road from Congressional. And we all know what he did there at the U.S. Open 11 years ago. So he's clearly one of the players you would want to watch. But who else on that list are you watching this week?
Rex, the big one for me is Tony Finau. He kind of backdoored a runner-up finish last week, had a great final round at the Mexico Open to at least kind of chase Jon Rahm all the way to the finish line. And this was a big surprise to me. This was his first top 10 finish on the PGA Tour since that win last fall at the Northern Trust in the first event of the FedEx Cup playoffs. The term we hear so often when it comes to players, especially if Tony Finau's ilk, was that, oh, that's going to be a breakthrough win for him. And now the floodgates can open, and that has not happened whatsoever. You look at statistically, he's still very good with his ball striking. He's actually inside the top 10 strokes gained approach. Putting, it always comes down to putting. The reason why he won at Northern Trust was his putting. He holed basically everything that he looked at, which has not been, I would say, the strength of his game throughout the course of his career. He is statistically one of the worst putters on the PGA Tour. He's losing nearly half a stroke to the field on the greens per round. You cannot compete competitively and consistently on the PGA Tour with those kind of statistics. Did he find something last week in Mexico? I think that's what we're going to find out this week, or was that just kind of a one-week aberration?
I came up with two names. One, statistically, I feel like Mark Leishman is due for a good week. This seems like the kind of place where Mark Leishman would play well. I just think that he's at a point in his season, certainly with a partner a few weeks ago, Cam Smith in New Orleans. They played decent, but I think this would be one of those courses. But the other one, and that's probably my head bet, but the heart's going to go with Francesco Molinari. And you're talking about a guy that has not played.
That's always your heart pick.
Is it? I don't know that
always.
It is. Really?
We all love Frankie. Who doesn't love Frankie?
I like Frankie. I don't like interviewing Frankie, because you want to hear how that interview went yesterday when I was interviewing for Golf Central?
It was kind of like Cantlay and Schauffele.
This is my Francesco. I feel very good about my game. I've never been more excited right now than I am at this particular moment. That's my Frankie Molinari.
He sounds very excited.
Yes, he was very excited about that. But I think this is coming back to 2018. He was commanding performance here at TPC Potomac. It was at a different event, Quicken Loans National. But if you look at what he did that week, he ran away from the field, and that included
he was the best player in the
Tiger
world
Woods.
For like a year, Rex, until Tiger broke his heart on the 12th hole at Augusta National. I guess Frankie broke his own heart. I mean, he was the best player in the world, but that was 3 years ago.
And I had a chance to talk with Frankie about this yesterday, and it was the last thing he said in that monotone, I'm very excited sort of voice that sort of stuck with me. And he told me he's trying to reinvent himself. And I like the idea of being at this stage in your career, knowing that you needed to make some changes. I think he's ready to make some changes, going from one European to the next. Your thoughts? Lee Westwood did an interview this week. He is one of many players, as it's coming out now, that's requested a conflicting event release from the PGA Tour to play in that first LIV Golf event series in London in early June. What are your thoughts on Lee being among the group now that seems to be asking to play for the competition, essentially?
He's one of what the LIV Golf officials say is 15 of the top 100 players in the world. This is something that we long suspected, and he confirmed Wednesday in an interview with Sky Sports' Jamie Weir that he has indeed asked for a release from both the PGA Tour and the DP World Tour. I strongly encourage everyone to go listen to this. It's about a 2.5-minute interview, but Lee Westwood basically checks off everything on the LIV Golf bingo card. He talks about sports washing. He talks about independent contractor. He talks about how he's just trying to earn a living. He talks about how the PGA
Everybody
Tour
drink. That's right.
And the
best
World
drinking
Tour
game.
have given conflicting event releases to Saudi Arabia before, and that now is just under more scrutiny. He hit every single talking point. He has been a terrific mouthpiece, both Greg Norman and this entire LIV Golf venture. It would not surprise me at all if we never see him again on the PGA Tour, because it certainly seems, listening to him, that he's going to be throwing his hat in the ring for every single LIV Golf event. He seems like one of the faces of this project, but I strongly encourage everyone to go listen.
And I do think it's interesting that guys are becoming more and more comfortable talking about this. I mean, Robert Garrigus was the first to tell me 2 weeks ago in New Orleans that he had asked for a conflicting event release. I think Sergio Garcia is the other name that's cropped up. We talked about this on the podcast yesterday, and this is the part that gets me. I was talking with a couple of folks on the range yesterday, and one of them, who we would know to a certain degree, walked up and said, have you heard how many guys have asked? And before I could give my patented answer, which has gone from 7 to 20, he spit at me 70 players. And I'm like, come on, what do we just rule? Every morning we're just turning a wheel. It's just, all right, how many people are we're going to say? Like, I don't believe for a minute it could be 70 players, but it gives you an idea of how rampant this is on the PGA Tour, at least the rumors. Now, this is going to become reality really, very, very quickly, because we're getting to the point now where those names, whether if it's 7 or 20 or 70 or however many it might be, they're going to have to come out and announce that, yes, we've requested this, and the tour is going to say yes or no. My gut tells me the tour is going to say yes, because the precedent is set for players to go chasing cash, that they've allowed this essentially since the beginning of time. We keep going over and over this. Where it gets interesting is the next 4 events are in the United States. That's where the tour is going to have to draw the line. But I'm not surprised that Lee stepped up, because he seems like, as you pointed out, he's going to be the poster child for this.
And what's also interesting, Rex, and you mentioned that the second event, and that's kind of where it's all going to come to a head, but DP World Tour Chief Executive Keith Pelley has vowed to crack down on the DP World Tour players who end up asking for a release to play in this first event, even going so far as to say that those players could potentially rule themselves out of future Ryder Cup captaincy. Lee Westwood, I think we all thought, was going to be the 2023 captain in Italy. He kind of backed out. That one, you look at some of those other names.
Did he back out, or was he backed out?
He says publicly, at least, that he backed out because he wanted to give himself another chance to play. Obviously, if he goes and plays the LIV Golf Series, that's not going to happen. He wouldn't be a potential captain down the road. If Sergio Garcia also becomes one of these players who plays semi-full-time on this LIV Golf Series, he wouldn't be a captain. Ian Poulter has been one of those names that bandied about potentially playing in this LIV Golf Series. He wouldn't be a potential captain. At some point, like, you've got to have these guys, and it almost it's a knock on the credibility of the Ryder Cup if you don't have some of their stalwarts over the past 2 decades not serving as captain or at least part of that team in some capacity.
All right, Haley has took down the headline, so we have to move on to rapid fire. Before
or did Jason take it down? Jason, I'm watching you.
Jason is driving.
Jason, I'm watching you.
Eyeballs on Jason.
2 weeks. 2 weeks, me and you, pal.
That's right. Because Haley's going away. We're going to miss Haley. I do want to ask Haley one thing. The last couple of weeks I've been on the road, and so when you take the screenshot of the writer's block, it always looks like a hostage video. It always looks like I'm being held against my will. So if it's at all possible, that's right. If it's all possible for you to at least get a picture of me halfway smiling, it makes it look like I'm at least semi-enjoying this.
We're having fun during this.
We joke. We have fun. We lean into the funny. It's what we do. All right, rapid fire lab. These have to be quick. I know you don't have that in you. We're going to start with, all right, well, we have our 5th star winner in a row this week at TPC Potomac.
So that means Scotty, then Spieth, then Xander, and Cantlay, and then, of course, John Rahm last week. So I'm going to go with no. I feel like this is a Cameron Young week.
That was rapid fire. Good for you. No, I'm going to say we are, and I'm going to lean into Rory because last week I said
new venue. This isn't Quail Hollow.
It's wet. It's across the street from Congressional. I just think this fits perfectly.
But it ain't Congressional.
It ain't Congressional. I asked Rory today, as a matter of fact, how many times he has spent his birthday at home, given the fact that his birthday always seems to either fall on this event, and he pointed out that when he was younger, it fell during the Lithium Trophy. He said one time in his adult life he has spent it at home, and it was during the pandemic. So
that's actually kind of like me during the Masters. Me and Rory, same deal.
My honeymoon during the Masters. Absolutely. All right, moving on, and I hate this question. You did it. I hate you for it. Sunday or a Monday finish here at the Wells Fargo Championship?
I'm calling a Monday. They're asking for
come on.
They're basically calling for like an inch of rain every single day. The golf course at some point is going to get unplayable.
I don't know why you would say that. I don't know why you would hate your friend. I've done nothing but love you. I'm going to go with Sunday finish because I don't want to hang around here an extra day. Low Englishman, Matthew Fitzpatrick, or Tyrrell Hatton?
Both of them very good bets. This was a shocker to me. I'm going Matt Fitzpatrick. Rex, would you have believed me if I said that Matt Fitzpatrick is top 5 on the PGA Tour in strokes gained tee to green? Little Matt Fitzpatrick, who I all just thought was this nifty scrambler and great putter, he is ball striking the heck out of it this season. I'm going with Matt Fitzpatrick. Wouldn't surprise me at all if he finally gets that first PGA Tour win.
I feel like both of them are playing well. I don't know why we had to play the coin flip on which one's going to be the low Englishman, but I'm going to go with
gambling is big now, Rex.
It is big, and we're going to lean into it. I'm going to go with Fitzpatrick. I saw him working with his short game coach, and I always think whenever Pat Goss is out, he's distilling some sort of nuggets of wisdom that always seem to pay off. All right, the big finish here. What's on the grill, Lav?
Or he and Pat Goss were talking about like the 6 weeks that Fitz spent at Northwestern. Who can really say for sure? Salmon yesterday. Rex, we talked about it on the podcast. Beef cheeks is the big one that I'm going to be experimenting with this week. You're in the land of the crab cakes. What's the over-under? I'm setting it at about 10.5 of crab cake intake this week during your stay in DC. What do you got?
Joke is on you. I had 3 last night, and it was just the first night, so I'm going to go way over. Let's set the over/under.
Is there anything else to eat there besides crab cakes?
I don't really know. I mean, there are good restaurants. It's DC. I mean, it's a metropolitan area, for Pete's sake. Let's don't dumb this down to the lowest form. But I do like crab cakes. Going to an Orioles game tonight, so there will be no crab cakes.
There's not going to be crab cakes there. There's going to be very crappy hot dogs.
No, you'll love this, that they have 1992 pricing for the Orioles game, which is pretty much the last time the Orioles were relevant. So I'm going to enjoy this.
That sounds good. It's basically like Augusta National for Major League Baseball teams.
Yeah, that's right. Or AAA, however you want to look at it. I'm an Orioles fan. I'm going to die an Orioles fan. We'll talk to you Sunday night, Monday morning, whichever one we get around to it, depending on the finish. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Monday finish for Rex.
Stop it.
Pray for Rex.